Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and I hope all of you guys are having a good morning, evening, wherever you guys are from, and welcome back to another Bitcoin technical analysis. And in this episode, I want to talk about the recent price action of Bitcoin and this bullish sentiment that has seemingly taken over this market over the course of the last week or so. So with this recent price move upwards, a lot of people have become bullish, but a lot of people also think that we're going to be barting downwards. So I'm going to be giving my thoughts about where I believe Bitcoin's going to go and how this situation's unique, but very, very good for both people learning TA and for people who are experienced in TA. So if you guys are interested, go and stick around for the video, and do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as it does help out the channel a lot. But that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into this. So sorry if my voice is a little bit quiet or a little bit low. I'm getting over having the flu, and that has taken a toll on my voice, hence why I haven't uploaded a lot of videos recently. But with this this price action in Bitcoin, it had a phenomenal move upwards, right? So it's in this sort of this channel of sorts within this pennant. It's in like a channel of sorts, and it has followed this thing very, very well. It's used the support, and we've mentioned this in previous videos about how the support has just been so reliable, and it's still using this, you know, time and time again, holding above this support line, and now we actually got to see it rally towards the upside. Now this was very good. Now it's gotten to a point now where it started painting a bull flag for us, and what this has done is actually given us a falling wedge inside or really after this consolidation range that Bitcoin's been in. So after this recent spike in price valuation, we got up and we reached around these new consolidation levels around over here. Now what happened is, again, I personally believe that we wicked up to this range just because a little bit too much FOMO came in during this spike. I think that this started out as bots and algorithms, and then a lot of people started jumping in as well to really booster the volatility in this price jump. Now when this happened, again, I'm looking at this area over here and this guy over here. So the bottom of this left range and probably mid to top of this range is where I imagine this thing going to, hence why I had double markers over in this range. And of course it did fall right in between both of those. Now with both of these ranges again being used as resistance because of the fact that they're consolidation ranges, it actually really worked out that we were able to land ourselves back here. Now from a retracing perspective, the first thing that I did was draw up a fib, and then as soon as the consolidation started playing out, I drew out my my bull flag, because it was very obvious that this was drawing a bull flag. Now, I know a lot of people seem to think that we're going to bark down here, and I really don't blame them for thinking that, because of the fact that we have followed that pattern numerous times over here. Again, I would say the best, recent scenario was something like this over here, and if we go and we zoom in, we can see that it was the same thing happen. We had a nice price, a nice jump in the price action of Bitcoin, followed by this bull flag, this downwards consolidation, followed by just a failure and a BART completely back down the opposite direction. And this has kind of been the the name of the game recently. Again, false bull flags just left and right, and we keep seeing it. So what makes this time any different? Well, I think that this time it does make it different because our volume was actually through the roof. Our volume was tremendous. It was very, you can see it's the highest volume that we have on our 4-hour, since the highest positive volume that we have on our 4-hour since as far as I can see. I mean, the volume in this level was incredible. And so I would say that well, I guess it did get beat over here in December, but that was just because of the sheer amount of bounce pressure that we had from such a drastic fall. But again, so with these BARTs playing out, what makes this different? Because it seemingly looks like we're just forming the same pattern over here, but I think this time it could be very different for a couple of reasons. And the first one being that this is a very long and extended range of consolidation, and each time that we get back down here, you're seeing a good amount of buying pressure. Now we are still forming higher lows, which is one of the biggest problems with Bitcoin in this price range, but you're respecting this bull flag very, very well, unlike some of these other ones. So when I'm looking at this as a falling wedge, I now have 4 touches on a 4-hour chart, which is something that I really like. So circling now 1, you can count this as 1. I guess you can count this as 1. Technically it'd be 5 touches, but 5 separate touches, 3 collective swing touches. And that's what really highlights this to me and makes this obvious that, okay, this is a definite point of resistance. And then looking at the same thing on support, not quite as strong, but you're showing yourselves that this is definitely going to be at least some form of a support in a way, because of the range that it's bouncing and the way that it's bouncing. Again, very, very beautiful bounces over here. Another thing that I want to highlight is the fib retracement levels themselves. This was a crucial role in the price action, at least as of recently. So when we saw this come back down over here, we saw it come back up, get rejected by our 236, fall back down, actually pierce through the 382, come back up, hold above all of these candle body closings, and I think that's something that's very significant, is the fact that we held all these candle body closings were above the 382 range, back up to the 236, and now we're seeing rejection again, which comes in perfectly with also our resistance line. So when I'm looking at this again, maybe it does come back down here, but as far as I'm looking at this is a bull flag and a falling wedge, which really doesn't make me too bearish. Looking at our indicators and oscillators, I'm looking at this from the MACD perspective. I see a rounding MACD on our 4-hour, which seemingly, again, now while this is a higher low, in terms of the bearish volume on your MACD, this is still rounding action from a decently deep price, and with this rounding, again, not too bad. Your oscillators are rounding as well, and with this you're actually seeing a bounce in your RSI. Now this is something I mentioned in the Discord, is that this thing was due for a bounce, and sure enough, here it comes. And probably an hour, maybe 2 hours later after I said that, we are seeing the bounce in the price action, or at least in the RSI. So when this is coming down, the reason that this is bounced is that there's really, I would say, 3 significant ranges for your RSI. The first one is going to be your neutral range. Again, it's neutral for a reason, around 50, 55. That's going to be your neutral range. You're going to have your oversold range, which stands at 70, and you're going to have your overbought range, which stands at 70, and your oversold range, which stands at 30. These are the 3 significant ranges, and where you see things bounce the most frequently. Again, it's very obvious. You see that the most bounces happen either in this neutral range or along this, and it's probably clear to see on the 1 hour, but the 30, I would say the 50 and the 55 and the 70 are the most likely areas of where you're going to see bounces or rejections. So when I'm looking at this, I'm saying, all right, this has really not had any kind of a bounce up until this point on a 4-hour chart. So when it's reaching this 50, the fact that it hasn't had a bounce yet, at least not a decent one, is making me think that it's definitely going to bounce around this neutral range, which sure enough, we are seeing the price action right now. So with this and seeing rejection candles and your fibs playing such a crucial part, you can kind of lead yourself to determine some better technical analysis. Now we can take a look at this on the 1 day, and it's going to look a little bit differently, but nothing that should be too serious. Alright guys, so TradingView just went down mid-video. I assume that they're working on the servers or something like that, but nonetheless, I did get a lot of the main points out, talking about the recent price action of Bitcoin and the technical analysis on it. I think the big things in this range, to recap this, are going to be your fib levels, this bull flag as to whether or not it plays out, and also your indicators and oscillators. This really doesn't look like too bad of a situation for Bitcoin in the current price. However, I think a tight stop loss is going to be crucial in this area, at least for me, because of the fact that this could really follow this trend of barting collapsing back downwards in on itself, and if that happens, I think we're going to be seeing a price action close to 3200 if it does that. So I think, again, a tight stop loss for me is going to be crucial, but a lot of the crucial information that I have discussed was already in this video. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. I want to know what you guys think about the recent price action of Bitcoin and what other trades you guys are looking at right now. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.